Hello everyone, welcome back to an episode of Dice Throne Homebrews. So today we are not playing with Wonk or Amy, we're playing with someone else entirely. We're playing with Nova. So Nova has been on the channel before. You've seen their brew Disco Elysium, Harry Du Bois and Disco Elysium. So yeah, he's back, ready to play Wonk's homebrew because she can't play her own homebrew because that'd be like, I don't know, feel like it's kind of biased. So
Are you ever gonna do Euler?
yeah, then you're just gonna record Euler without me. I just gotta not even be in my own channel. Where I see the times with Amy.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my character. So first of all, we'll be playing as Thanos. You should know who Thanos is. If you don't, I'm shocked, but good for you. I'm so glad you're going outside. So, essentially, Thanos' main gimmick are these Infinity Stones, which there are 6 of them, and they each, during his main phase, he can flip them over for various tiny effects. Technically, any player can flip them over for various tiny effects. At the start of the game, these will start in the center, and we're both going to take 1 gem. And during our turn, we can discard a card to take another gem. Now from the center. Now there is drop, give, and take. So when you drop a gem, you return a gem from your board to the center. When you give a gem, that gem is directly given to another player. And when you take a gem, you take a gem from the center, right? Now, Thanos is also able to use 3 of these stones at once to modify one of his dice to one of the flipped stones. Because his dice is one of each side is different, and these can be used to help mod and control this very silly roll objective. So, yeah, that's really about it. Except for when he gets all 6, he flips over to the Infinity Gauntlet, he gets an extra dice, and he can also draw a card every turn by spending 2 combat points. And he also has Protect. So, yeah. Honestly, other than the gimmick here, he's pretty fundamental. So, go ahead and introduce your character, Nova.
Hi, my name is Nova. I'm still not a very interesting person, but I have managed to somehow unwittingly find myself playtesting another, cute anime girls. I don't like girls, by the way. So I don't know why this keeps happening to me. But anyway, I am playing Fuwamoco. Fuwamoco is made by Wonk, a person who exclusively makes cute anime girls as the brew. So brews. So that's just how that goes, I guess.
Every time she's made a character who isn't a cute anime girl, the character just doesn't work out. So she's just decided to go with the flow.
Luck.
Yeah.
Fuwamoco is a pretty fundamental character, despite the fact that there is 2 entirely different dice anatomies. So basically, you have a lot of these Fuwa dice, which are kind of bad. They're blue. Fuwawa, whatever. They're pretty bad. They're blue, but they don't have the best kinds of symbol combinations. And they can really activate some of the more basic abilities. But you get 1 of Mokoko's dice for free. I think I said that one correctly. And those dice have much better odds to get your symbols. For example, the 6s for Fuwa are like the 3, 4, 5 for Mokoko, etc. You have the fuzzy symbol, which is really good in general, and it's only available on Mokoko's. Normally, you only have 1 die for it, but you can spend these donuts. Normally, donuts can be used just to heal. They're from Deadpool's kit, but they're repurposed here per the contest requirements. We'll get into all of that if you don't know what I'm talking about. And you can basically spend the donuts to add extra Mokoko dice to your next offensive roll phase. So you can have some offensive roll phases where you're rolling 8 dice, or sorry, 7 dice, and they're no, is it? Hold on. Yeah, it is 7 dice. And you can roll really big roll objectives, and you'll see that they have some abilities that are insanely strong, but they're very, very hard to roll because you have only basically 1 offensive roll phase where you can use them, and you have to spend all your resources, etc., etc. But otherwise, they just kind of hit for big damage, swap dice, is how it goes. Yeah, that's about it.
All right. So let's go ahead and, save my perspectives. Yep. Oh, yep. And
we both get to take 1 gem, right?
Yes. So during setup, starting with Thanos, going clockwise, each player takes an Infinity Gem and places it onto their board. Set the rest back on the center of the table. I will take the Time Gem. This will give me 1 combat point every turn.
Damn it, that was the one I wanted.
Too bad. Also, like, this setup, I believe, would happen before you draw, but I'm not 100% sure on that. Either way, just ignore
No,
it.
your setup does. I forgot because I'm dumb.
Yeah, you just wanted the extra information.
Sure, I'll take power then. Why not?
Ooh, power. All right. Now let's go ahead and roll for first.
Okay.
Number 3.
I'll roll my lucky pink die.
Jesus.
6.
Right.
See? Lucky. Yeah. I have to re-emphasize I don't know VTubers, I don't know anime that well. So if you're expecting any like deep lore hits from me about Fuwamoco here, I don't know. I actually probably know more about Thanos. I'm not much of a comics guy either, so yeah, this will be funny.
Yeah. Remember that once per turn, you can discard a card during your main phase in order to take a gem, and that'll also give you that effect of that gem, so it's really good to do that.
Yeah, can I take the gems from your board, or can I only take them
Only
from
from
the
the center.
Okay. All right, so first I'm gonna play 2 free upgrades out of hand, because sure, why not? Fuck it. Then I'm going to play double up. And let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and discard transference to steal. Which one do I want to steal? I'll steal the soul gem and heal 1. How do I go about using the power gem? Do I
You
just
flip it over.
during main phase just say I'm using power gem?
Yeah, just flip it over and use it.
All right, 1 damage to you.
Ouch.
And here we go. I am gonna go to my offensive roll phase.
Let's make your dice a
What
bit
does this give
chunkier.
me? What?
I made your dice a bit chunkier. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you. Well, that is already almost max boisterous. I guess. That's not exactly amazing, but I mean, it's okay. It'll do. I think I'm gonna save the 6 here, reroll the rest, see how that goes. I'm not an expert at this character. I did help playtest. What the hello, hi.
Okay, cool. Yeah, good for you.
Turn 2 chaos? Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
That is insane. What the hell? That's like I just natural rolled 3 6s in one roll. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. Okay,
no, don't
I
be
roll
sorry.
4
You're
dice.
fine. You're just gonna get less than 8. You get your donut. All right. That is at above average. That is 8 plus 9. That is 17 defendable. Okay, so I will roll 1 dice.
17 defendable. Turn 1. Here we go.
All right, so I rolled a 4. So I rolled a 4, so that means I take a gem that isn't on a player's board. Okay. Because it matches that, otherwise I prevent 2 damage. And then I take 17.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
Yeah.
I mean, I
you
guess
flip
I did get
over
the
gems that you use, friend.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
Well, I've already done both. Okay.
You know, I'll just play not this time to heal 6. There we go.
Okay. I don't even remember what I was saying before. That like rolling those 6s just completely wiped my memory. I have no idea what I was saying anymore.
Don't sweat it,
I'm gonna end my turn.
Well, we're fine. All right. So my turn. First of all, upkeep. I flip over any inactive gems. Okay. That are on my side of the board. All right. Gain a combat point. Draw a card. Okay. Okay. I will gain a combat point here. With my time gem. Space gem. Taiwan and Slam and welcome to the jam. Wait, no, I'm not gonna get my combat point yet. I think I will though. Let's take these. Okay. And this is an awkward spot that I'm in. Because I would like to take Send Scavengers. but obviously that's a little awkward right now, especially because I don't have my time gem. So maybe I do want the time gem. I think I'll be fine without it. Okay. All right, let's just start rolling and maybe go for Cruel Ultimatum. Try to take a gem from you or my large straight. I have access to my 4,
Okay.
so that should be okay. All right, large straight, roll 1. I'm so good at this game. Holy shit.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. Well, hey, look, with the roll I just did, you can have a turn 1 large. I'm okay with it.
Yep, 9 defendable.
Okay. So I'm gonna roll Protecting Smiles, which is 5 dice, and see what I get. I gain a donut, and that is it. So I'm gonna take the 9.
Yep.
Sorry, where's my health tile? That's here.
Okay.
And then yeah. And do I do anything on my gems? I think the large straight makes you drop my gems.
Yep, drop all your gems and I take a gem.
Is there a way to get gems off your board or no?
Nope.
Okay, so you've just done very good at getting all your gems to you right away.
There we go.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yoink.
Turn 1 gauntlet. Let's go.
And we infinity gauntleting. Gaming. We're so good at this. Okay. So reality, I can draw 1, then discard 1. So we will go ahead and use we'll use the reality gem first. So get to draw 1, then I must discard a card. And I'll use my space gem in order to look at the top card of my deck, and I'll put that at the bottom. Oh. And I will use the mind gem, and I will mind your hand, looking at one of them. Bye-bye, good for you. Okay. And for my memory issues, I'll put this off to the side. Alright. Okay, I also get this, and I also have the gauntlet. I don't really know what this does for you, but I have it. Yippee!
Cool, it's cool points. You have cool points.
I'm awesome now. Also, you can't even see my
So now
face.
you
I'm covered in all these shiny rocks.
Yeah. So he rolls 6 dice now, which is very cool to have turn 1. But I guess I roll 7 dice sometimes. So you know what?
Your
Everyone's
turn.
rolling more extra dice. All right, my turn.
Yep.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna sell, get that out of there, because I don't really have a lot to use it on. If I'm being entirely honest,
I'm
can't
gonna have
really remove your
protect.
gems. You can, yeah, but like,
Yeah, protect's pretty good.
Where do you even get protect from? I think like
Scan
Sand
Scavengers.
Scavengers, that's
And my mini ult.
and Emperor's.
Well, mini ult slot.
Well, okay, well we'll see if I regret doing that or not.
I mean, I probably would. My protects are pretty good. But yeah.
I have not played against Thanos before, so I couldn't tell you if
Uh-huh.
it's particularly good or not. I'm just
I'd
gonna
rather,
roll. I
like,
don't
why
want to
don't
spend
you...
my donuts right now.
Whatever. It's fine. Okay.
I'm getting bullied. I'm getting like actually hardcore bullied here.
You should
It's
have
kind of not
played...
cool.
You should really just eat your donut. Whatever. No, it's fine. Yeah, you're gaming.
Derek, are we doing a showcase or are we backseat gaming?
I'm backseat gaming because, like, you know, you're going... If you get another donut here, then you're going to overstack on donuts because then you're also going to get one from your defense. And then you basically just lost value for no reason.
I'm not. But what if I don't get one from my defense?
Well, then you're trying to get 2 donuts into one phase, which isn't substantially better than 1 donut in 2 different phases. It's fine.
Well, it's too late. I'm already rolling. It's too late.
Yeah, you're already so good at this game. Sorry. Sorry for the bullying. I'm already a
god.
Yeah.
I'm getting so hardcore bullied, it's kind of not cool. I mean, no, you're actually fine. Fuck. Okay. Well,
yeah, small straight.
Well, actually,
Sorry.
that's a 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, small straight.
Oh, yeah, no large straight. Okay, I'm going to take a sink for 3.
Yeah, go ahead.
In response. Okay,
Nope.
I roll 3 dice. Okay.
6 damage donut. That's about as good as it gets.
And yeah, 6 damage donut.
Okay.
I was really hoping for that draw too, but you know, whatever.
So now I roll 3 dice, and then if 2 of them match, I do bullshit. Oh, whoops. Great, 2 of them match.
2 of them match,
so,
you do bullshit.
Yep, I take 3 less, you take 3 damage. So I take 3, you take 3.
I don't think you were supposed to get a gauntlet turn 1. I'm feeling that's not intended.
No, it's intended. It's part of the game, part of
Oh.
God's plan.
Alright, well, I have my turn. And
Cool.
if I get a donut on defense, then you can laugh at me. Like, put a laugh track in and everything.
I'm not going to do that. I don't feel like it. Alright.
It would be funny.
I don't think it'd be that funny. Okay, let's get a combat point. And let's start rolling. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6.
I like how much more notably chunky that one is than all the others.
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Let's play our Space Gem, our Mind Gem, and our... Reality Gem. And modify this to a 4. Ultimate, any response?
Okay, go ahead.
Yippee. So go ahead and lose half your combat points and discard one of the cards you had.
This one.
Rest in pieces.
And I lose half my health, which is 17.
Yeah.
No, I'm so bad at math. 19. Ow.
Close enough. Okay. Now I'm going to heal for 1. And now I'm going to deal 1 damage to you.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, go ahead.
I love playing Dice Throne. Turn 2, I'm 19 health. Let's go.
Don't worry, I just have to deal 18 more damage to you. How like, it's fine. Didn't you just say that the ultimate wasn't that good?
I didn't think it was so easy to get it. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the ultimate was gonna be harder. I thought you wouldn't get like a gauntlet. For context, before we started the recording, I said that the ultimate didn't look that good, but that's because I assumed you wouldn't get the gauntlet till like turn 4, turn 5, or something. I did not anticipate you would get gauntlet turn 1.
You also tend to try to force
that.
send scavengers because damage isn't super relevant before the snap.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'm spending all my donuts. We're going big mode. See, I didn't waste it. I did not waste it. Told you. So what's that? 6, 5. Ooh. There's so many options. Woof. I think I'm gonna save a 6, 5, 4, 3. Roll the others. It's a decent chance to get a 1. Come on. Okay, well, maybe not.
Darn, you just have two fuzzies. Oh well. There's no way you can make that one work.
Yeah, I'm pivoting a little. Okay, now I just look dumb. Okay.
You don't look dumb. You draw 2 cards and you get to deal 5 damage and get a donut. Pretty good.
Yeah, but you just did like 19 damage in 1 turn. I'm not really trying to play the slow game here.
Well, like, you know, what choice do you have?
I could. Yeah. No. Yeah. Yeah. Hold on. No. Yeah. Okay. Samesies. I'm going to change this into a 6 and activate Hopes and Dreams.
Okay. In response, I will play.
Any response? I had a feeling.
And yeah, enjoy some sync.
I get sync again, yay! All right, 3 dice. I'm gonna roll all pink dice because those are better usually. I think. Is rolling all pink dice better? I think it's just about better, kind of. No, yeah, fuck it. Look, I'm losing this anyway. I just took 19 damage in 1 turn. It's like I'm cooked anyway. All right, I gain a donut and you get Naoto and 4 damage. Nato, whatever. I don't know.
It's not actually
I'm
pronounced
pretty
NATO.
NATO.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And that's 5
anyway, that's
defendable?
4 damage too.
Oh, 4.
No, 4.
Oh yeah, Jesus, it is 4. Okay, let's roll 3 dice.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I take all the damage. Darn.
And my turn.
Okay. My go. I'll gain a combat point and draw a card. These flip back up. All right.
You know, it's like you
Get a
use
combat
the
point.
infinity snap, and like one of the two cat girls just dust.
Nah, they're both halved. They both lost half their donuts. All right. So let's go ahead and start our rolling. Okay, numbers. All right, what am I doing with that? Technically, I could immediately go for send scavengers, which will give me protect and draw me 2 cards. Which is pretty nice. I could also use Cruel Ultimatum to just have you take damage if I just roll more reds. So I could roll these 2, looking for a red, and then try to get yet another red to just deal a ton of damage. Alternatively, go for Emperor's Decree for 7 undefendable and protect. You have 1 card left in your hand that is a bye-bye. That seems pretty good to make you discard. Then now that I think about it, yeah, your whole deck situation is just kind of sad. Okay. Oh yeah, also this kind of works like a sort of a large mega straight because it's become 9 undefendable with the gauntlet. That's kind of fun. Anyway, let's reroll these 2. Okay, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I could go for the 9 undefendable hit here by changing this to a 5. Or alternatively, I just do 7 damage, make you discard a card here. Hmm. Yeah. Let's just roll these again, looking for more reds. Okay, cool. So that is going to be 7, 10. That's 10 defendable, and you discard a card, and I can change this. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up. Oh, wait, no, I know that you have a buy in your hand, so yeah, I know that this is safe to do. I'll use my mind gem, my reality gem, and my uh soul gem, and just deal 9 unvenomable. Wait, no, and just deal 10 damage. Wait, yeah, 10 damage, and you discard a card.
Okay. I lose my bye-bye. You
Mhm.
just flip that now.
10 defendable.
Yep, I know. Okay. I prevent 1. Wow, 3 of the pinks is 1 prevent. Well, that's tough. That's it. Okay, so I take a 9.
Yep. Okay, and I'm going to use my power gem to deal 1 more damage to you, and I'll use my space gem to
Okay.
look at the top card of your deck, and put that one at the bottom. You want to look at it?
Oh no!
Uh-huh.
That was my triple up.
Yeah, sure. We're also just gonna play what status effects get rid of your donut.
You're just kicking girls plural while they're down.
Go ahead.
Okay. I draw a card.
Uh-huh.
All right. I'm just gonna play this because at this point, if I can kill you in 1 turn. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna spend both my donuts. Here we go.
We're gaming.
I can't do 32 damage in 1 turn. Even these damage out. I don't actually think there's any way to do that on this brew. It's certainly possible. Did you ever take the Nato effects, by the way?
Oh, I didn't. Right, I'm gonna take 2 damage. Ouch. Right, Nato, if they perform any roll attempts past it first, I take 2 damage and it's removed.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure you did that. I just wasn't paying attention. I
Yeah.
was too busy, getting snapped.
Uh-huh.
It's actually surprisingly hard to roll this many dice. You'd think it'd make the objectives easier, but there's like a lot more to consider.
Uh-huh.
I think I'm gonna roll these, and let's see. 2, 3, 4. Wow, this is not going good for me. Well, here's where I have a dice mod to help myself here. If I had any, unfortunately, you've done a very good job at making me basically not allowed to play the game.
Uh-huh.
Shoot, I guess that's chaos with a donut.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's gonna be chaos 3. So roll 3 dice. Doesn't really matter what values it or what kind of dice it is. That's another donut because that's 5 defendable. That's
Yep.
really sad.
Let's roll 3. Okay, I take 5. All right, my turn.
All right, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, let's get my card point and draw my card and flippy flop. Okay, let's play Getting Paid to draw a card with the gauntlet.
Yep,
Okay.
fancy gauntlet effect.
Yeah, let's go ahead and gain a combat point with our time gem and start rolling. Actually, we're also just gonna do 1 damage with power gem just to bap you
Bap.
for 1.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, let's start rolling. Yeah. Okay. I have immediate access to Emperor's Decree for 7 undefendable, which does kill you instantly. Good game.
Good game.
I'll
0
also
25.
play
Let's
power in order to add damage. I'll roll the big dice with this. So it's 5. Okay. All right, cool. Just 1 extra. Anyways,
let's go.
we're cooking.
So that was a very quick game. I think that was like what, 3, 4 turns? Yeah.
So what I did in that game was I did large straight into Cruel Ultimatum into Emperor's Decree. Wait, into large straight, ultimate, Cruel Ultimatum, Emperor's Decree, victory. So
Yep.
it's 4 turns.
So 4 turns.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry about that.
And I thought Fuwamoco had the insane damage values. I was
yeah.
wrong.
Also,
it's really the ultimate. The other attacks you didn't do actually like that much damage, or at least not beyond what would be normally expected from Dice Throne. It's just yeah, that 20 damage ultimate is a little ow.
Yeah, it hurts, especially because it's very easy.
So anyway, I guess we move to the feedback portion of this little show, this little series you're doing.
Oh, for sure.
I've been given the rundown. Unless you have any other concluding thoughts about the game or any other cards you want to play out of hand to do more damage to me.
Sure. Yeah, this does CL2 health. So.
Rest in peace.
Yep. Let me get my cloud manager. Let's go ahead and grab that. Objects, components, cards, custom card, spawn it in. Bloop, bloop. There we go.
You don't have this as a saved object?
Okay, I can, but I don't feel like it.
Yeah,
Save object, rubric. There you go.
All
just
right.
for you,
who wants to go? Who wants to grade first?
Let's have you grade first. So obviously balance is a little bit hard to evaluate here, but this was you attacked 4 times and you got me down to 25, but also I did insane bullshit all the time. So, you know, you could like try to spitball based on that.
I have played a lot of Fuwamoco before. I helped playtest. Granted, we're supposed to technically only go off of just this game, but because there was so little to go off of in terms of like balance stuff, I am gonna peek at my notes a little here. I don't actually have notes. I'm just kind of like saying that. I would say the Fuwamoco is surprisingly well balanced. I think there's definitely some points I think that like it's kind of one of those weird things where like the numbers work out, but I'm not always sure if the feelings work out, if that makes sense. That like I found that in my test of Fuwamoco and in the gameplay I've seen of Fuwamoco, despite having abilities that deal like 10 undefendable, 15 undefendable, have a potential to high roll like what did I do first turn? Like what 14 defendable or something like that.
Uh
Uh,
huh.
the numbers surprisingly work out pretty well for the character, despite the fact that you're just swinging that high. It does mean that games with Fuwamoco go pretty fast, but that's not inherently a bad thing. Pyromancer exists, although I don't know if I would say Pyromancer's a great example of dice storm balance, but you know what I mean. I don't know. Balance. Let's see. Yeah, I think from just a technical balance perspective, I think the character does pretty well. If anything, I think this showed that they're a little weak, but I think that's more Thanos' issue and less Fuwamoco's issue. So I'm not really gonna act like that's their fault.
Uh huh.
Um, I think I would give it a 4. What do you think?
Um, I don't see a reason to give it a 4, right? I think I'm giving it a 5 because it's like, obviously this game didn't go very well for it, but I wanted to be a bit more generous with bouncing points. I also think I was too harsh on Booker and Elizabeth. I think I probably want to lean that more towards a 2 or a 3. It's just I need to play more games to really exactly feel that out, but obviously this isn't real judging. But yeah, like
Yeah, for the record, I'm not gonna be spiteful because Wonk or Derek said sad things about Booker and Elizabeth. I'm the
uh
one that made that, by the way, but
yeah,
I'm not
I have a
vindictive like
lot
that.
of confidence. Like the thing is, though, I think that Booker and Elizabeth, like I have a lot of confidence in them. It's just that like you were very much like in a rush to get that iteration out, which was definitely worth it, but at the same time like didn't have as much time. But either way, we're talking about Fuwamoco here. Like I struggle to imagine why to not give this a 5 in balance, unless you have like a stronger argument other than like vibes. 'Cause you're not even saying it was like too weak or too strong, honestly. Um, for what it's worth, I think that like
I
for the range of balance, like I'm looking for inside of official like Marvel X-Men, and like I feel like this is appropriate.
I think it's just maybe a little swingy. I would have to do more tests to be sure, but the fact that I had like some defense rolls and some sync rolls where like what I got out of it was like below average delta, and then you also have abilities that could like do insanely way above like 15 undefendable. I I would imagine it's possible to break the character a little, or for someone who is just really horribly unlucky and doesn't understand how to play the character best, to just like spend 3 turns basically doing 4 damage and gaining a donut every turn, which would be an instant game loss basically.
I guess
Uh,
my question to
I
you there is like, isn't that not Dice Throne? Like, have you not just described actual Dice Throne?
there's not a lot of official characters where you can just go 3 turns in a row doing literally basically almost nothing.
Cough
Um,
Cyclops.
I guess there are some though. Yeah, okay. You know what? Okay, fine. 5 it. Screw it. Send it because
Like the thing is,
there
like
is
what you're
official. That's
saying is like yes, you can misplay, but you can do that on like any character. Yes, you can get unlucky and lucky, but it's like that doesn't sound like a
Throne.
problem with Daiso. It sounds like it sounds like a problem with Daiso, not with Fuwamoco. It's like I've had that experience with basically every official character to some
Yeah.
extent. But yeah, it's like, and that's not balance either. That's more like fun, right? Even.
Yeah, which I guess I'll kind of elaborate my thoughts a little bit more once we get to that clarity. I had no rules questions. This is a very straightforward character, despite the fact that you're rolling 7 dice at once sometimes.
Sure.
The actual like information is presented very well. There's not a lot of stats effects. The abilities are relatively quite simple. If I had to be a really tiny nitpick, I think putting on donut or on at the top here is a bit weird. It doesn't really make the role objective very clear. But that's a nitpick. I'm not going to actually dock a clarity point for that. That's just me being picky.
Uh
Um,
huh.
I have no
Technically,
rules questions in this
yeah.
character though.
Technically, Jean Grey has very slightly different formatting on that, but like it's pretty similar to Jean Grey's formatting, right? So, womp womp.
Yeah. Womp womp.
Yeah.
Design restrictions. So to clarify for the people at home, the 2 design elements that Wonk took with Fuwamoco here is reusing an original stats effect from Deadpool in this case, and also having alternate dice anatomy. Basically, one of the restrictions is to have a set of dice, either your main dice or some other dice that have very weird dice anatomy. Depending on how generous you want to read this, you could kind of read this as AAA, BBC, and then this is like BB, CCCD. Yeah, weird to say the least. Especially since you could roll both sets of dice at the same time. I would definitely say this does qualify as the weighted dice anatomy. Now, when it comes to the design restriction, it is not just do you have it, but also how you use it, and that is where I think the conversation comes up. Um, I think the dice are done very well. I think it's a pretty interesting kind of like ebb and flow where you have some turns where you get to activate a ton of stuff and some turns where you don't, and you kind of want to be able to do it every turn you can, but you always can't. Um, there's a lot of interesting things where abilities do take on different forms depending on what dice you decide to roll. As you noticed with that sync, I decided to go with all Mokoko dice because I thought it'd be funny, but that actually wound up being like probably a subpar choice in a combination of that.
Well,
Um,
it's just that you
so I
didn't hit
think
the draw two, right?
yeah, with all three, yeah, with three pink dice, I didn't roll a single draw too, which was sad. Uh, but yeah, it's kind of funny to see these huge roll objectives and these huge damage numbers and values. And yeah, um, I think the dice are done well. The one I take the issue with is the implementation of Donut. Now, admittedly, this is possibly an L on Dice Stone's part because Donut is not an interesting stats effect. Really, it's basically just kind of like less interesting Wellspring, and Wellspring's already not interesting. So, uh,
We love reload in
um,
this household.
yeah, but I don't think this brew does anything interesting with the stats effect itself. You basically use Donut as a blink. The stats effect could basically read has no effect and instead just has whatever the passive does or whatever, and it would have basically the exact same effect on the brew. Technically, you can use the donuts to heal, but I think the value you get out of these insane like 10 undefendable damage abilities from rolling multiple like pink dice way outweighs the value of um just healing like half a d6. Half a d6 is like at most 3 delta. Meanwhile, getting the chance to roll something like 15 undefendable is. I should probably take these upgrades off so I stop reading those numbers off. But yeah, um, what are you doing?
Oh, there are cards that do change the character's relationship to Donut to some extent. So
I didn't get any of them though. So
yeah. I'm just like showing them to you to ask like, how if that changes your opinion by how much. I do agree that like Donut is much more a theme thing than a mechanics thing, right? And I also agree that Donut is not a very strong scorer here, but they do try to use Donut with these cards in a way that is like unique to Donut.
yeah,
Yep.
but even then, I would still say that like um you could basically just replace Donut in these with any status effect and not much changes. Or I don't know, is the ruling that like spending donut for this
That's not your upkeep.
count at towards the cards? What?
That's not your upkeep.
Okay.
That's your
So for
beginning of your
something like
offensive roll phase.
Northwest,
That's a different phase entirely.
but something like this, if wait, no, hold
Yeah.
on. I'm sorry.
That's like this could be anything, right? But also, we've been slowly chipping away at the 7 deadly sins. So we have pride, we have greed, we have
I see the envy.
we're working on them, right? Yeah, but this is gluttony.
Yeah. Um so yeah, there is some cards that kind of benefit from using the donut more, but that I'm not entirely thrilled with how the stats effect is used. It doesn't seem to use in an interesting way. Which again, that's more of an issue with the fact that the stats effect is not interesting, but maybe there was a better one to pick. I don't know. I don't wanna
It's a theme thing
be
at the
too
end of the
mean.
day, but also it's like, there are definitely a lot of stuff here. I can say what I would give a score as, but I'd like, you can also say yours if you'd like. Up to you.
I kind of cut it halfway down the middle. I think like 2 points or 2 points definitely come from the dice being interesting. That's 2 points, and then I would give about half a point for the donut.
Yeah, I'd say
Or
I give it
actually,
a
no,
3.
hold on. Sorry, my mouth is skewed there. So let's say like 2.5. So if we assume the two design restrictions are equally weighted, which that's how I'm interpreting, I give full score for the dice to 2.5, and I would probably give like half a point for donut just because the cards are sometimes interesting, but
I agree with
otherwise
that,
it's not.
but also it's like, at least for design restriction, I allow it to go above 5. Like I allow it to go up to 7 for one of the categories, if that makes sense. So like up to 3.5. If it's like, you have one category that's really good and the other categories are kind of whatever, I'd still be willing to give it like a 4, right? But like I would say that this isn't like out of this world, right? So it's not enough to pull
Yeah,
Donut out of being like a kind of a mid thing. So I think that
yeah,
I think that 3 seems totally fair.
yeah. The
Yeah,
dice are cool, but I've seen cooler uses of multiple sets of dice. My own brew.
I'm
No,
not sure I agree
but
with that.
well,
Cough, coughs.
I'm joking. I mean,
Simplicity is God. um,
simplicity is God.
yes.
Okay. Mechanics slash theme. Okay, so this is kind of also split into two parts. The first part is the mechanics totally unique to the basically dice throw, and the second part is doesn't make sense for theme.
Hmm.
For the theme, I will refer to Derek because I don't know anything about VTubers, even slightly, so I have
I
no
also
take
know
on
nothing about these VTubers, but I'll basically say like what you see is what you get. They are dog girl sisters, and they work together, and they like to eat donuts, right?
They're dogs? I thought they were cats. I've been saying cat girls this whole time.
No, they're dog
They're
girls.
dogs?
Yeah, they're dog girls.
And
It's
what?
bow bow, not meow meow.
Dogs don't go bow. That's not whatever.
Oh, oh.
What dog goes bow? Anyway, um, yeah, I give it a 0 to 10. Not even 5, 0 to 10 because animate. No, I'm kidding. Um, but yeah, I have to assume the theme is on point. I mean, it looks on point. I just don't know much.
Well, they're not
I do
real
appreciate
fighters. They don't
daily
like
art.
actually beat anyone up. They're just like play
I
games and stuff.
disagree. The wrestling right here.
Oh yeah, sure. So obviously it's like a it's abstracted, right, for sure.
Yeah,
But
which I'm no stranger to doing that, so I get it.
yeah, yeah.
As for mechanics, uh, hmm, that's a hard one to
Hmm.
evaluate because I would say that like obviously the dice mechanics and dice roll objectives are unique. Dice has never done this, but I wouldn't say any of the abilities are particularly revolutionary in their implementation. A lot of these are just kind of versions of existing dice throne abilities for the most part, either
Sure.
because they're just very straightforward, like just deal damage, gain whatever, or often it's just like there's already like monks like Tempest Rush for something like this, etc. Defense isn't there's nothing that's like super revolutionary in any of that regard. I don't know. Is there any abilities that you think are like really unique, even by dice throne standards?
So when I'm looking at that, I don't evaluate this, I think, in the same way you do. I don't really care if the abilities are unique. What I care about is that stuff feels tactically interesting and relevant, right? So it's like all of these abilities are relatively fundamental, but what I'm looking at more is the dynamics that exist and how they interface in a way that results in interesting gameplay.
Yeah,
Now, this character is pretty honest in that it's not trying to do something way out there. You get donuts, you spend them to make your rolls stronger, or sometimes there's some cards that make them like you make this you want to eat them, or like freaking give it to your opponent just to steal it right back like a jerk. Because yeah, technically you are allowed to give a donut to any player when you gain it, so you can give it to your opponent. That is an option, which is what this card does. Like that's how you use this card.
yeah,
So yeah, like there's that stuff, and it's not way out there, right? Um, and like I will agree, that, yeah, this is a relatively fundamental character, but there is also the sort of unique aspect of like, you have you have like three different states that your board can exist in, and then based on how many like fuzzies you get, that can really change the relationship that you get with your board, right? Like you get one fuzzy, it means you can get like this, but you can also like strengthen this ability and this ability. If you get two fuzzies, that you can shoot for hopes and dreams or get like a big boisterous, right? Like um, you have like all this stuff, right? I think it plays
yeah.
together very well. I will say that it's not revolutionary, but it is doing very well in being a nice fundamental character.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird divide because I would say that like in terms of if we're gonna go with the whole tactical like decisions thing, um, outside of how many donuts to spend, there isn't really a lot of tactical choices. Once you do spend your donuts, you just kind of chuck dice, especially for your very first roll, a first roll or two. You just kind of that's what I felt like I was just doing. It was just like I have a lot of dice. Let's just see where this goes, and that's fun. That's still a fun kind of interesting dynamic. People like
Uh-huh.
dice chucking. We like dice chucking here, but um,
Yeah.
whether or not that causes a lot of tactical decisions, I'm not sure. But lower complexity characters like this aren't going to have like turns where every single move needs to be hyper analyzed.
Yeah.
I do think the character probably leans a little bit too much into you just roll the dice and whatever you are most likely to hit that's a good ability, like like especially with all of your donut dice. Whether you're likely to roll for this, or like a really high chaos kind of determines everything. But I still think it's fine. What do I score this? Um, hmm.
So, like, what I'll say is that this character probably feels like the most similar to what could actually come out in official Dice Throne, of every single contest movie I've seen. Right
Both of ours
now,
included.
yes. So I will say that like this feels like it's definitely unique enough to fit in base Dice Throne, and like yeah, this would feel like a unique character. So I do not see
Yeah,
giving this lower than a 3, right? Like I
yeah,
think that 3 is the bare minimum I think I would be comfortable giving this. So then we have to ask, all right, I don't think it's a 5 either. I think that
yeah. I
5 is
wouldn't
simply
say
too
it's fine.
generous. Like these are not very unique mechanics, but at the same time, they are just like they are mechanics which are executed very well and elegantly, right? So I think it's between a 3 and a 4. And I feel fairly biased here because I really like the character. I think that's like very nice, and like I would say to give it a 4, but that's because like I really love my elegance. I love my I like it when things aren't more complicated than they have to be. And Fuwamoco is like any complications here are stuff that is intentional and stuff that adds to the kit instead of subtracts from it, right? I find that an issue I have with a lot of the submissions so far is that their gimmick makes Dice Throne worse. Like, I'd rather just be playing Barbarian. I'd rather just be playing regular Dice Throne, right?
Yeah,
Um, so like this is
I'm
regular Dice Throne with stuff that adds to it, doesn't subtract, and everything that's here is very well put together. So I would give it a 4 because I love elegance. Now I get the impression that you feel differently about that, which is totally valid.
I personally, I am not a person. Wonk makes almost exclusive characters that are pretty straightforward to play and are just kind of like aggressive, end the game in 5 turns, super high damage values. That is personally not how I like to play Dice Throne that much. I don't like official characters they make that do that. Feels like every set they make at least one character that does that. And while I respect the decision to do that, that is personally not what I like about Dice Throne. I'm trying to be objective here with my scoring, so I'm not gonna like knock it a point just because this isn't my preferred play style, because that's not fair to the brew. Um, that being said, I don't know. There's part of me that can't quite get over the fact that the abilities are just kind of a lot of them are just a lot of dice chucking. It's just a lot of dice chucking in this brew, and dice chucking's okay. It's not a bad thing, but I don't want to give this like one of the higher of the mechanics scores. Um,
Uh huh.
uh, for a
Like
brew that encourages just so much, just like, oh, bow, just roll a bunch of bow dice, chaos, just hope you high roll on the multiple roll threes, and yeah, I just defense especially feels just kind of like random, I'm just not sure I can I don't feel comfortable giving it a 4 when a lot of this is just kind of like randomly throwing dice. There is some
my
decisions, but not enough for me to feel like this is a super tactile, super like you got to think about everything kind of brew. And maybe you don't have to, and that's okay.
uh
But it's just not something I would personally rank a 4 for that. That's just me though.
I mean, when it comes down to it, right? It's like there's a kind of like fundamental difference perspective. Like I love my simplicity, and I think that this character basically optimizes how much you can get out of 4 complexity, right? Like if you imagine like you're saying that okay, we're not making this just more complicated. This is a 4 complexity. I think this is like as good as it gets, right? If that makes sense.
I
Like
don't even
that
know if I
that's
would give this character a complexity 4. That might be part of our difference. I'm not even sure I would give this a complexity 4.
this is about equal to Storm in Storm's complexity 4.
I forget dice are really softballs that are complexities. That or
Well,
I've
no,
become
it's like
too brain damaged from making characters like Harry Dubois and stuff.
yeah, like this
Brain
is
damage.
absolutely a 4, right? Like I struggle to think of any argument that this isn't a 4. I do not see giving this a 3. This has 2 unique dice anatomies and a variable roll objectives based off of like, how many donuts you're eating. And it also these cards are pretty difficult to use as well, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, if you just eat them, it can also definitely like you then need to think about your setups a bit longer as well, and you have to like, count that and stuff. So I think this is easily complexity 4. But like I'm thinking like within complexity 4, this is as good as the mechanics get, which is why I'm giving this a 4, right? But I totally understand a 3. So I'm going to lowball and say a 3 because like, I feel like I highball a little bit too much on balance. Let's just knock it off of mechanics/theme because let's say that maybe this character might be a little strong, but it's really hard to say, right?
Hard to say with
I
this game. I
fun.
lost.
What
It's
do you think of
25 to
fun?
0.
Fun.
Okay,
What is
this
fun?
is the tough one. Like if I were a judge, this is the one I would always struggle the most to grade because the other ones are kind of more objective. Well, they're all subjective, but like there's a bit more like guidelines to this. Fun is just like, do I like it? And that's hard to say because I don't even know how I would always rank fun for a lot of even like official Dice Town characters. I mean, I can think of a few that I could rate low for fun or like rate a certain thing for fun, but like um, for the most
Yeah.
part, that would be
And like
difficult.
my bias is I'm a samurai motherfucker. I like playing samurai unironically. I'm a sicko, right?
You are a sicko. I agree. Uh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry I don't like playing Harry the boy, Harry doing boys. It's like uh I don't hate it, right? It's just that like it definitely feels like there is an excess of mechanics that makes it feel like I'm just sort of wandering around instead of like directly interfacing with the game, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
But
I
like
get it.
that is
We
my
we have very
bias,
different,
right? In that I love elegance, right?
and I like elegance, but I can also do without it. My brews tend to not be the most elegant. If I think they do something more interesting, I'm gonna be completely honest. Some of my brews are not elegant at all. Uh, I made a character that has almost 50 cards in a deck. There is no elegance. Elegance
Listen,
has
I
died.
made a character with imaginary numbers, all right? Like I know that I said I like elegance, but it's not that I'm always gonna do it, okay?
Okay. Well, okay. Let's use the official rubric describing thing. I definitely think this is a minimum of 6. I think the hero is fun to play against, both as and against. I wouldn't mind seeing them in a casual game. So I don't think anything lower than a 6 is reasonable. Uh,
Yeah.
I also probably don't think 10. 10 would imply this is like one of my favorite characters ever. I also would not say
I
that. So
don't think
we're
that
definitely
10
some.
implies that for what it's worth. Um I'm just like I think that just means that I would reach for this on my own just for the sake of playing it. Is how I'd do a 10
Okay, well,
because
I wouldn't.
yeah.
No, no offense, I would
Yeah.
not. So,
Yeah. And I
so
would,
we're somewhere in
right?
the 9 to 6 range.
Yeah.
Um,
And obviously
Let
like,
me think
I
about
would like
it.
for this to kind of be like your grading if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to give like some of my own feedback and like some of my own thoughts just to bounce up. But this is like your number at the end of the day, right? I just chose a 3 here because you're
Yeah.
having trouble. Is
No,
that like
I
yeah?
was leaning more towards 3. I could tell you wanted to put 4.
No, I'm
uh,
saying that like I would
sorry, more.
personally put 4, right? But like because this is your
Yeah, that's what.
grading, I think 3 is acceptable, especially because like we're with the balance, right? We knock half a point here and knock half a point here, right? Just to balance it out.
Yeah, it makes sense. Anyway, haha, balance. Okay, fun. Let's see. I'm gonna think about this for a second. I think getting to roll large amounts of dice is pretty fun. I think the mechanics are obviously interesting. I gave it a pretty high in the well, at least I think the dice mechanics are pretty fun. I think that's definitely where the character shines is the dice interaction with the dice mechanics. I feel like a lot of the other brew is just kind of like all right, it's elegant, it's simple, it's there, it's cool. But I definitely like the dice mechanics, so that definitely boosts it up in fun points. Where I kind of get subjective here, and I think you're not going to agree with me, is I think there's just a bit of a feel bad sometimes for both parties. Having turn one taking like 16 undefendable, or not undefendable, defendable, from just a lucky chaos roll, feels bad. Especially since I know I kind of like highballed in that because I just happened to roll a lot of sixes, but most mini ults won't even do that kind of damage or that kind of effect. So that's kind of a feel bad. The defense here, I do not like it. It's a very fat feel bad. You roll 5 dice, and I genuinely I hate defenses where you roll 5 dice and get prevent one, and that's it. That feels terrible. It's not actually badly designed. I'm not saying that, but it doesn't feel good because you're just like you roll a lot of dice. You're expecting a lot to have come from it. I generally like my defenses to feel a little more punchy, a little more significant. The fact that I rolled 5 dice and all I got was prevent one. That's it. That kind of stinks. I'm not gonna lie. Um, that doesn't feel good. A couple things like that. I just feel like there's some feel bad moments for both parties. And I could see someone playing this character, and if a game goes a particular way, either badly for Fuwamoco or badly for the opponent, or just like certain abilities get spammed, certain abilities get used multiple times, it might just feel kind of bad. The game might feel like it just kind of ends, you know? Um, this game ended really fast because of Thanos, but I could also see a game where the game ends really fast because of Fuwamoco. Very fast, like way faster than I think people want. Pyromancer can finish out games in turn 5, you know? And so
Prime Minister do
technically there's
turn
some official
4.
precedent. Yeah, there's official precedent, but I also don't know a single person who likes that Pyromancer can end games that quickly. That
I like
people
that
tend to like
Pyromancer
their
can be
dice
that
turned in.
aggressive. It's called luck. It's called variance. You know, I'm playing dice throw, not playing a Euro game.
I made the Euro joke once. You can't steal my joke. That's my joke.
Uh,
um, I don't know. I
yeah,
think
I found okay. I guess like as a comment, I will say that like I completely disagree with you about defenses. Like I find that actually completely baffling that you want your defenses to be consistent. I want my defenses to be inconsistent because I think that's just like more interesting. It means you can come back from further. It means that things are more swingy, and it means I'm more invested in my role. If I just roll and
no.
stuff happens, I don't really care. I want it so that sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's good. The fact that like sometimes it's bad means a lot to me because all the other
I
effects, donut and draw one, are going to be like basically average to above average for a defense, right?
yeah. It's not that I want my defense to be consistent. It's just I think this defense isn't good. That's different. Um,
The defense
and
is good, but
you could you could high roll on it, yeah.
no, you don't high roll
But
on it. You just get donut. Donut's really good in this character. You said donut's better than 2 delta. If you're valuing donut at 2.5 delta, it's a high probability that you get donut, right? And yeah, just donut itself is really good.
okay, touche, touche. Um, hmm, I don't know. This is a actually surprisingly tough character to rate in terms of like a lot of these things, including fun. You would think with a character this simple, it would be like, oh yeah, you just bing bong boom done, you know. But this is actually
Yeah.
more nuanced
Like I
than
do want you to judge this based off of like what do you feel is appropriate between the 6 and the 10? Like how much would you like if someone else plays against you, how do you feel, right? And if you
I.
like had the choice to either like play this character or like say like Spider-Man, which one would you prefer to play, right?
I would feel like if someone picked this character to play against me, I would feel like I don't get to play a proper Dice Stone game. This character
Really?
is going
Why
to
so?
do the kind of damage and have the kind of variability and the potential high rolliness to make it so that the chances we go for a standard, like tactically interesting back and forth 7 round Dice Stone game is low because there's a chance that they will just swing for 2 attacks that do like 10 undefendable each or something like that, and the game's over already. Uh, or they might like prevent literally no damage and heal nothing and die very quickly, etc., etc.
Yeah, and I guess it's like you feel like that, but that has not been my experience after having played this character like, a handful of times, right? Um
Yeah.
yeah, I do feel like the character like it is kind of like interesting to me because do you feel that same way about Pyromancer?
Yes, I don't like Pyromancer. Pyromancer is probably
Uh-huh.
one of my least favorite Dice Stone characters. Not because
Uh-huh.
she's bad, but because she's just doesn't let Dice Throne be a game, or at least doesn't let Dice Throne be the game I like. I like Dice Throne for a lot of things, and Pyromancer basically ruins all of that and makes the game not what I like about Dice Throne. And so any character that
Mhm.
tries to take a lot of inspiration from Pyromancer, I tend to also not like. Um,
Uh-huh.
uh, and a lot of characters that try to play as aggressive as Pyromancer and have the kind of damage values and kind of outputs that Pyromancer has, are characters I don't traditionally like very much.
Yeah. I
Fuwamoco's not nearly as bad as Pyromancer. I'm not saying that, but Fuwamoco does have a chance to end the game like turn 5. Um, and just also have feel bad moments where they just happen because they got lucky, swing for like fucking 12 undefendable. Screw
it
you,
is
you
like
know?
it is definitely I think at least a little strange to me that you mentioned that because I feel like in terms of raw statistics, this character is just as likely to get lucky as like most other characters. It's just more obvious because it's like these abilities exist. But again, like, let's say that you activate this ability after eating 2 donuts, evaluating the 2 donuts at 5 delta. This is about deal 5 and draw 2, right? Because you have to burn those donuts, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So like that
Maybe I just
doesn't
don't like that the
seem out of
character's honest
bounds, right?
about
The
his health.
numbers are high, but that's because you have to burn resources, right?
Yeah.
And like, you're like saying, oh, you think that this can result in a swingy game, but it's like the numbers are not as high as you seem to think they are. Like, just because they appear high doesn't mean that they are high. And as you saw in this game, it was 4 turns in. You weren't rolling amazingly, but you were rolling like, yeah, you were rolling like relatively below average, other than your first turn. I'll say that balances it out, right? And like, it's 4 turns,
Yeah.
you did 25, right? That's pretty
That's
reasonable.
pretty average for Dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reasonable.
Yeah, and it's like I'm just kind of confused because like you're saying like these hypothetical, but what if this happens? Yeah, but what if Barbarian gets an ultimate?
Maybe I don't like that the character's honest about the damage values. I much prefer to see abilities that do like some amount of damage and then give you more options, like different status effects, different abilities. To see an ability that just says deal a 10 undefendable and that, or like 15 undefendable, inflict a status effect that you have no interaction with, isn't something I find very interesting. That ability just kind of looks like you know. Even if
Yeah,
the
that
numbers work out, it just that's what I mean by fun is hard to rate for me because it's
uh-huh.
I,
And that's
I
like
kind of have
real
to abandon a lot of logic and just have to kind of go with like a gut feeling and like
uh-huh.
how I feel about it, and that's what makes it tough to grade because I'm not sure what to do.
And I
I
don't mean
think
to say that you're
because
wrong, but it's like I really appreciate that, like as a player, because I find the roll phase to be the most interesting part of the game. There's so much statistics and math that go into the roll phase, right? And then it's like, oh, but now I'm just having like, a bunch of random bullshit happen on my ability because like it's way over bloated and I have to figure out how to convert this all into delta, but it's not that hard to do it. It's just like work. It's like I don't care for that, right? That's how that makes me feel. I'm not saying that you are wrong. I'm just saying that that is my perspective on stuff of that manner, right?
I can't wait till we go over your brew because for your contest because I feel like Euler spits in the face of a lot of the things you're saying right now, which is really funny to me.
What I feel
uh,
as an artist is it's important to have a creative vision and stick to it, right? If you actually like pay attention to Euler, I think that Euler actually does a lot of things that I'm saying, right? It's just applied in a way while sticking to a creative vision. There are ways to make Euler a lot more complicated and less elegant. I promise. I've done them. But yeah, I'll shut up. You can rate your fun.
I think I'm gonna pencil this in as a 7
Really, 7.
because I don't. What
I'm like I guess I'm like a little bit shocked. 7
is
seems
that?
like
Lower, higher?
lower than I expected. Like
I
I
don't think
expected an 8.
7's a good score for fun. I'm not gonna lie. The
Uh-huh.
fact that it was even like it's low if you do the range of 9 to 6. 7 is a little bit low, but if you consider the whole range of 0 or like 1 to 10, 7's pretty
Uh-huh.
good. I would take a 7 as
Yeah, but it like I guess like why I'm a bit surprised is because I consider Dice Throne to be fun, and I consider this character to be Dice Throne, right? Like it's very just Dice
I
Throne to
don't
care.
consider this character
Yeah,
to be Dice Throne.
and like how
This
how
is a
so?
this is one of being a really interesting conversation. I'm
Uh
aware
huh.
the video is going to be like half analysis at this point because we've already been going on for a bit and we haven't even hit Thanos yet. But
Uh huh.
it's just we have really different opinions on
Yeah,
dice
for
throw,
sure.
which is not what I was expecting going in when playing the dog girls. Sorry,
Uh-huh.
cat girls, whatever.
No, dog girls. You got it right the first time.
I, I don't care. Okay, I care. I care because I want to respect the brew properly, even though anime. Oh no. Uh, um, let's see. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing Fuwamoco pulled out against me, or I wouldn't like if someone's like, "Hey, you should play this
Uh-huh.
character." I wouldn't mind doing it. It's not really going to be like most fun. There's a lot of official matchups and a lot of unofficial matchups in Dice Throne that I like through homebrews and stuff that I would find a lot more interesting. And I
Uh-huh.
would struggle to find a matchup to Fuwamoco that is particularly very dynamic, very interesting, very back and forth. It would just kind of feel like Fuwamoco
You
just kind
keep.
of does their own thing.
I'm kind of like, I'm kind of interested. You keep saying back and forth. Like, what do you mean by that? Like, are you looking
Dice
for
Throne's a very back and forth game.
like what do you mean by very back and forth? Like, is Spider-Man very back and forth? I'm guessing that you would feel no.
No, what Spider-Man is? Well, okay, I haven't played like updated Spider-Man. Previous Spider-Man's actually probably a little bit low on the back and forth because they're a bit weak. But I've not played the updated Spider-Man yet,
Like, is
so
it just
I
like
couldn't tell you.
another way to say balanced, or do you mean in particular that the opponent has many opportunities to interact with the kit in a meaningful way?
Yeah, both players should have an interesting, meaningful way to interact with one another. I don't like
Uh-huh.
Pyromancer because you could play Pyroblast 3 and basically activate that every turn and win the game. That
Yeah,
sucks. That's
I agree.
terrible.
I think
That is
Pyromancer
not a
is like the upgrades on Pyromancer are a bit poorly thought out.
yeah. I know that's kind of an extreme example, and I'm not saying anything like I wouldn't give a Pyromancer a 7. I'm going to say that I would probably give Pyromancer like a 3. So Fuwamoco's a lot better than that. I have to emphasize that. uh,
Mhm. Yeah.
but I don't think there's a lot of interesting interaction for the opponent. They just kind of watch Fuwamoco do Fuwamoco's thing and hope that Fuwamoco doesn't hit like a 16 damage chaos and basically went to swing the game. It's a bit swingy like that, and swingy games can be fun, but I prefer swingy games to be kind of like more intelligent, more thought out, more like there's like play from both players, and the person who comes out on top is the person who could turn the swings and turn the like randomness and dice thrown to their advantage. There isn't that in this brew, which makes it not my favorite.
Like,
It's
you
still
mean
good. The brew's
you're
still fun. It's just not
yeah.
my favorite.
And I'm just like, so what you're looking for is a way to manipulate like the numbers in a way that isn't just regular dice throne, because this is just regular dice throne, right? The way that you do all that is with the Yahtzee. And it's like,
I don't know.
yeah, I get it. I get it. Your opinion here is totally valid. I'm not saying that you're wrong. Like, this is your score. Your score here is a 23.
Very good
So,
score, by the way.
yeah, but for me,
I
like
really want to emphasize
yeah, for me this is a +3. For me this is a +1. So I would be giving this a 27. So yeah,
I
because
don't know.
it's like
23 is a good score. I would be happy with a 23. You guys didn't give me a 23. Harumph. No, I'm kidding. You
harumph
guys are fine.
indeed. But yes, like I do think I give this a 10 in fun, right? And that's because I do love the fundamental gameplay, and I think that also there is, like, I think that Nova was very much sleeping on how interesting it is to play against this character, because like you roll this dice, right? And you have such a high end, but it's also very disruptible. The Mega Straight is very disruptible. It's very easy to mess up. And, because there is so little overlap in these abilities, like you're saying that these abilities look boring because you just chase the same symbol. I don't agree, because it's like, because of that, this character is way more easy to mess up. Because you get this roll, and it is just Fuwamoco Morning, which is terrible to activate on double donuts, right?
Yeah.
And like modding into this is very realistic, right? So because of that, like I think that Fuwamoco is actually very interactable because of its role objectives being like this straightforward, because that means that a mixture of symbols is quite bad.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
Um,
Anyway, I do think we should get to Thanos soon because this video is
Yeah.
probably going to be like an hour long. It's going to be like 40 minutes
Oh, it's an hour.
analysis.
It's a
And
70
people are
minutes
gonna be
long.
like, "What the hell?"
Anyways, so
We're
far.
already 70 minutes long.
Yeah. So yeah, Thanos. No, I
Oh
love
my
yapping.
god, were we talking that long?
Yeah, I love
No.
yapping. I love yapping. So Thanos, by the
Jared,
way,
we gotta cut some of this out. I am not having a 70-minute video where I yap about the anime dog girls for 30 minutes. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to everyone watching this. I apologize.
Nah, I'm yapping too, friend, and I do think that the conversation was interesting. You don't have to be so hard on yourself. So, fun. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing
We're
this
starting.
hero
I
again
thought
in
we
a
were gonna start
casual
with
game.
balance.
Oh yeah, no, I do top down. Because fun is
Why
the
did
one
you have
that's
me
the
go
most
bottom up then?
I didn't. You did.
No, you did. You were like, okay, let's start with balance. I'm like, okay.
No,
Well,
I
he was
didn't. I
gonna give it
didn't.
for
I never
balance.
said that. You just started talking about balance.
No, I'm gonna watch back the video and point out the exact timestamp where you started me on balance.
I did
I'm not
not.
taking the slander.
I very much did not. I remember you're just talking about balance now. Okay, I'm not gonna interrupt. Anyways, so fun. I would mind seeing this hero again in a casual game, but mostly because the balance. Now obviously it's like getting the gauntlet on turn 1 is above average. However, all it took was a large straight and one of the cards let me take 2 dice. Right, that's literally all it took to do that. So, and also getting one off the Titan's shield. So turn 2 seems fairly reasonable to happen for this kit, but turn 2 is, oh boy, right? Pretty dang fast. And technically also like turn 3 is also realistic for this character as well. Like I think 2 to 3 is realistic. Turn 1 can happen, as you saw there. It's just less likely. But even then, it's like, yeah, this character's balance is off enough that I would mind seeing it, but I wouldn't mind seeing it that much, right? Because the character is like, with this gimmick, it is at least enjoyable enough that's like, yeah, sure, I'm having a good time. Just in the sense that like I'm enjoying what I'm seeing here. I would personally, I think, give this character a 5 in fun. I
would probably. Oh god.
Yeah. Like, I'm generous with the fun value, and I think that's because I'm looking at a lot of the other brews in this contest, and it's like, oh no. Like, I would mind to see this, not because of its balance, not just because of its balance, but also because everything else is a train wreck. I do think this character's issue really is just the balance, right? And this ultimate. And I think that if you fix those things, the fun would be like, like 9 out of 10, 8 out of 10, right? But because like that's mostly a balance thing and not really in terms of play dynamics, I'm willing to give this a 5 and be fairly generous.
I think I would bump it a point myself just because I really like the encouragement and the attempt in the brew to have the players
Really,
other players interact
you
with
would
the
like
mechanic.
Fuwamoco wins by 1 point in fun. It's like, oh yeah, I'd rather play like Thanos and Fuwamoco are like kind of close, but I'm gonna give the edge over to Fuwamoco.
Let me talk.
Sorry,
let
I'm
me finish my
bullying you.
thought. I like the interaction, and I like the fact that the brew really encourages people to interact with each other's mechanics. I don't feel like the brew does it enough. I would love to see the brew have more of that, like you could take the gems back and forth, this kind of back and forth. I think that would be really interesting. But I like that there is such a large emphasis and even just an attempt to have like this built-in interaction. It kind of creates a fun dynamic. I want to see it played into more. I think just because it even tries that, when most brews don't even really try to like consider the interaction, I feel like I almost want to give it a pity, like not a pity point, but like a bonus point just for that. I think 5 is probably fair. Just because again, 25-0, that game did not go well, but.
Well, I think 5 is generous. To be fair, I think that if it was like in a better contest, like if the contest moves were better, I'd be giving this a 4 or a 3. I think 3 is a bit mean, but I think 4 is like more realistic. I'm just giving it a 5 because I want to round up because I do really like this dynamic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'm okay with 5. We could just pencil it as 5.
This is my rating, so you can have your own rating off to the side if you want, but this is mine. So.
Okay, well, you can give your. Oh, you already kind of did, yeah. I was about to say you could give your own rating.
It was a +3 +1, right? So mechanics theme is a 5. I think it's pretty pretty straightforward, right? This is very unique and it's very thematic to Thanos having the 6 Infinity Stones, right? Um, 4, really? What makes you give this a 4?
I think um
Like, what is
I think
not
the
unique?
having the stones, like I said, it's thematic for Thanos. I like the whole trading stones back and forth. I think it's a really cool mechanic. Getting swapped with the Infinity Gauntlet is cool. I think this is all very interesting stuff. I do think
I think it could stick the landing
um
better, but that's
yeah.
more so in fun, right? That's what I'm evaluating in fun, right? It's sticking the landing on the idea and on the mechanics that exist, right?
I just think the individual Power Stone effects are just kind of like random bullshit go, you know? And
Yep.
it felt like on some of your turns you were activating like just a bunch of random like not coherent effects that don't interact with
Okay,
each
but
other
Nova,
and don't
Nova,
change how you play.
I want to, I
Yeah.
want to, I want to, I want to ask, does that sound more like you're complaining about the mechanics or theme, or does that sound more like you're complaining about how fun it is to engage with the kit? I'm not flaming. I'm just saying.
I'm saying that's a mechanics issue. Just to have a bunch of these effects and not interact with each other or not doing anything interesting with each other. They're fine. They're fun effects to use. They're cool. They just don't do a lot for the brew. They just kind of felt like it would sometimes activate 3 or 4 effects that like, or
Uh,
2 or 3 effects that like just kind of random nonsense go. Um, the using them to activate your roll offensive role phase stuff is a lot more interesting. I think a lot of these are just kind of there because I don't know. I guess the creator just wanted to add them. I don't see what the purpose is for them in the brew. But
mhm.
that's just me. That's where I kind of dock at a point. I think the theme is fine though. I know actually about Thanos, and yeah, this is all pretty much tracks. I
Yeah.
the ultimate is really tricky because that's exactly how I would do a Thanos ultimate, but I'm not sure how to make it like balanced. I'm not
Oh
sure how I would
yeah,
do
you
that.
can probably just do that. It's probably pretty good. But
Yeah. Anyway, design restrictions. So, what are the 2 design restrictions? Flippable leaflet and weird dice anatomy.
yep. Although there's protect's very minimal, so yeah.
I don't think that was the one the creator was intentionally trying to use. We can
Right.
check if you want to be sure, but
But yeah, I know.
I'm
So
pretty
yeah,
confident.
either way, I'll just choose the ones that I know will score highest. So when it comes to design restriction, I am going to say that the flip is not very interesting. It is just getting extra dice and also getting the ability to spend 2 combat points a turn to draw a card. Neither of those, I think, really justify the existence of a flip leaflet, other than the fact that there is the gauntlet, right? Which is more of a
Yeah.
thematic thing. But you could have easily defined the gauntlet like on this side if you were more economic with your wording here, right?
Yeah. The gauntlet, the flipping of it doesn't really change how the character works. The gauntlet does change how the character works, but it doesn't need to be a flip leaflet to have the gauntlet. Outside of just like showing that there is a change in the character, but there's already a very large, oversized token that kind of already shows
I also
that the
love the
character has had a
big,
change.
ridiculous, oversized tokens here. We love them.
Yeah.
So
I do think the dice dynamic's really fun though. And these abilities are weird. I think I'd like to see them play with it a little bit more. I'm not really totally. I think the straights kind of undermine the weirdness of the ability, the free dice mods, and the weirdness of the dice. Uh,
mm,
and a lot of these objectives are. But I also understand that like doing a 6-sided thing like this is very difficult. So I can't give them too much. I think the dice anime is pretty interesting though. I think it does use it in an interesting way. Um, with the utilizing the infinity gems to like mod your dice and there's being like extra dice roll writers in your abilities. It's fun. I think it's fun. I think it's cool.
so I'll say that like this is a very tricky thing because you have this intrinsic dice modder, which I'm going to kind of like lean. I'm gonna have that like also go into the faces because that is an intrinsic part of how they're trying to make it work, right?
Yeah.
Um, I think that like A B C D E F is just an intrinsically very rough dice anatomy to use because you just can't rely on any symbol, right? Which is I think that like this is roughly optimized for how you could make this go, right? In terms of like this being the role objective board. I do think that Celestial Might is a little bit janky because rolling 3 of the same symbol is very difficult, and if you roll like, you're much more likely to get everything else, and this one is just not particularly practical, but it's also like your quote unquote best damage ability on board, so you can use that to actually end up the game, right? So I will say that like they did a good job with the 6 dice anatomy, but it's not like blowing my mind or anything, and the flip leaflet feels very minimal. So overall, for design restriction, I think I want to give this either a 3 or a 2. I'm going to, I believe, round down because like I would say that the design restriction is not effective for this, right? But it is not mind blowing for this. It's just like you made it like function. Like I'd say it's like it's like a little cool, but like it's not way out there. And I'm not a big fan of the very safe feeling of this, right? Of having dice mods, but that's very intrinsic to it. So I'm gonna give this a 2.
I was also doing this too. We agree here for once.
Yeah.
Clarity.
Balance is a 1. Yeah, let's just stick to that one. Anyways, so clarity.
Yeah.
So, did I have rules questions? Well, I did play this character before, but I do think that honestly they did a very good job at streamlining this character and making it work in a much more elegant way. I'm willing to give this a clarity 5, even though there isn't even an FAQ. It's just like on my first gut impression. Now, there might be some problem out there, but I think that this character is actually pretty dang fundamental, right? The only real quote-unquote question that I had was like, okay, if someone drops a gem, then I steal it, then it's not charged. But that's like barely a question because like you can just figure that out by reading it, right? So I give this a 5 in clarity.
I think so as well. I could nitpick a little, but I think we should kick the sprue while it's done.
It did a good job in a lot of things. If it was like balanced, right, that would fix this and this by a lot, right? Because like the fact that this balance is so off makes it less fun. But if the balance was good, then this would be higher.
All right. How do we make an argument for balance at 2? Let's just say a devil's advocate hypothetically.
You normally expect this to happen on turn 2, not turn 1. And a lot of the times, if you don't get anything, if you get unlucky, it can happen on turn 3. Which does mean that the character does have some vulnerability to Pyromancer getting very lucky.
Yeah. I would say that like if we ignore the ultimate, the character is pretty decently well balanced. I guess I didn't get to really do extensive testing, but I
don't agree. I do think getting a free dice mod and like 4 delta a turn for free, on top of good abilities, is a problem.
Okay, fine. I just wanted to see hypothetically.
Yeah, even if you got rid of the ultimate, I think it would still be a problem.
So that puts me at 18 for this brew. What do you have?
Also 18, but it's just like, we have a different opinion here. Because like I'm measuring uniqueness here, I'm not really measuring how fun it is or like how well it's implemented, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just different opinions, but very minor. Yeah. 18. 18's not bad though.
Uh-huh. I'm still like flabbergasted by the 6 here, the 7 here. It's like, yes, Thanos is like a little bit less fun than
I don't like Pyromancer like characters. I just don't.
But yeah, but you like it's like yeah, this would be like I wouldn't mind seeing this in a regular game. If like someone wanted to play this against me, like it wouldn't even like register in my mind as a problem. Sorry, I'm bully maxing.
I'm getting so bullied.
Okay. Sad. Yeah, this has been going on for a little bit, but Nova, any closing thoughts?
I promised to not rant about dog girls for like 30 minutes ago. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't.
Sorry.
I lost track of time.
I think your ramblings here were very informative, and I think that they were interesting, right? Genuinely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I appreciate the difference in perspective because it's like I think Wonk and I tend to agree on a lot of things, and I like that you have a very different perspective on what you enjoy, even though, like, yes, I do disagree, and I said why. But yeah, it is interesting that, like, you don't mind the concept of, like, you prefer complexity when I like, I prefer like minimalism, right?
Yeah. Which is, I think, is both. Those are both fair opinions, and it's why Dicer has complexity mechanics to begin with. That not everyone's gonna want to play barbarian, and not everyone's gonna want to play. I don't know, Jean Grey or whatever.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this was still cool. This is, you could title this video like 15 minutes of actual gameplay, an hour of yapping. Let's go.
Just like the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
I well, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed watching, and we will see you
Yeah.
never. No, we will see you eventually. Bye.
Yep. We'll see you next video. Bye.